It's showtime. Hi, y'all. Happy Thursday. How you doing? Look, I am okay if you're not here because I just got back from Italy yesterday and then had group last night, coaching today, some other things I had to take care of, and I sent the email out late. Y'all didn't really promote this one, but it's okay. How y'all doing today? Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well, staying warm. I'm happier now that I'm back in Portugal because it was a little chilly in Italy. I gotta say, it was a little chilly. It was a little chilly. Hey, 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 just Kay, how you doing? The Howards are in the house. Hey, y'all, how you doing? Hey, hello, hello, Pisces Pret. All right. Yay. Oh, I'm glad you're here too. The ABX girl. Hey, 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 how y'all doing? Yay. Yeah, I'm back from Italy as of last night. Had a great time. Even better because I got to connect with Julianne, if you might remember her from season 1 of the Blaxit Global podcast. Julianne came to Portugal in September on a layover on her way to New Jersey to the States for the first time since she left the US in 2020. So we got to hang out again. And then I went to Florence, Firenze, and met up with Shirley, who was in our Blacks the Global Facebook group when we had the group, as well as Judy Ann. And then finished my time in Orvieto with the lovely Victoria, who was also our moderator when we had the Facebook group. And she's also in our Black to Global Passport. Some of you might remember her from House Hunters International, the episode Babe in Orvieto. That was her. So we got to hang out. We went to a private wine tasting. It was divine. I spent 2 days at a wine resort, different from the place we went for wine tasting. I got to meet her daughter, and her mom was relocated, so it was a fabulous time. So it was a week well spent, well rested, and I'll give you some more tea on Italy in a sec. I want to say hi to some more people in the chat, like one of our channel members. Hey, Patricia. Hey, girl. So glad you're here. Monique is in the house. How are you, Yakota? Yes, I did go to Italy. I have to tell y'all all about that. Hey, Beverly's in the house. Gil's Gap Girl. Woo-hoo-hoo. Hey, hey, hey. How you doing? Mary's here. Diane, how are you? Yes, I enjoyed Italy. Lola Sunshine. Yes, y'all are here. Even though, like I said, I didn't do the promotion on Instagram, didn't do all my usual stuff. I was like, ooh, it was to the nth hour. But look, the show must go on. Yes. Oh, thank you, Jess. Well, I hope y'all realize this is an Ask Me Anything. So please put a Q before your question. This is your time. I'll answer your questions live. So some of you might be wondering, okay, who are you to be answering questions live? I'm Krishan Wright. For those of you who do not know me, I haven't even had a drink. Oh my goodness. I am the founder of Blaxit Global and the host of the Blaxit Global podcast. Blaxit Global exists to empower and inspire members of the African diaspora to pursue a life abroad. And I am joining you from my home in Lisbon, Portugal. Yay! And so, yeah, that is why I am here talking about this. So this year, as many of you know, we had 13 members from our Blaxit Global Passport community. move abroad, something that I'm hugely proud of. I will take the credit, including, well, not including, right? We had one last year that moved to Vietnam, Grace, and she's got this wonderful video. If you're following her on Instagram, she was a guest on the Blaxit Global podcast this past season. And so, yeah, she was walking the streets and speaking the language. I was like, oh, girl. I love us out here doing the thing. And that was cool in Italy, right? Because I don't speak Italian. I'm just learning Portuguese, so my brain was going to explode when I was just like, oh, I have to think about things now, even more so, is I can do some things in Portugal without really being conscious of what I'm saying because I know what I need to say. But I had my inclination was to be like, oh, bom dia. And I'm like, no, buongiorno. Or obrigado. And I'm like, no, grazie. So it was all this like back and forth. But the great thing is that I had my lovely Black expat friends who have picked up the language. They have picked up the language, y'all. And they were out there. Even Victoria's little 7-year-old, she was out there. It was so cute. It was so cute. So I'm proud of us. And, you know, you watched me last week and I mentioned, and then there was an earlier video a couple months back. Look, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, either way, you're right. So for people who say, oh, I can't move to a country where I have to learn another language, you speak slang, I'm sure, right? Code switch network. We already speak another language, right? We speak a language to each other. So we can take on another language, a foreign language. If you think it's hard, it will be hard. But if you think that it's no different than anything else that you've ever been able to conquer, because you know we magic out here, you can do it. You can do it. All right. I am happy. We're gonna get these questions. Okay. Let me start starring some of these. Hey, Double T, hola, hola. Yes, I loved Firenze. It was amazing. Rome was dirty. It reminded me of New York City. And I grew up in New York City, so I know of what I speak. But I will say, and I'm trying to adjust this, I turned up the heat in this room and now I'm getting too hot. All right, let's try this. Okay. So I love the museums. Oh my gosh, because I'm a museum girl. Well, y'all see my Instagram, or no, not Instagram, my YouTube shorts. I was doing some shorts while I was away, showing you some highlights of my trip. I just have one more to do of my time in Orvieto, but give you little snapshots. I went to Vatican City, which is its own country. So I got a twofer on this trip. Made it to Vatican City. Ooh, I was captivated by the Sistine Chapel. Oh my gosh. St. Peter's Basilica, just the Pantheon, the Colosseum. I didn't go in the Colosseum. We went at night, so just got to see the outside. And plus, I live in the EU now. I didn't have to squeeze everything in one trip. It was only 126 euro to get a round trip, so I could go back. So that was cool. And then Firenze, oh my goodness. The Duomo. I stayed at this fabulous hotel. I gotta share the video. Yeah, I will share the video for our channel subscribers. I'll try and upload it tonight. That hotel room was very, very nice. And more museums, more museums. Oh my gosh. Got to see the David, his little naked self. I saw so many body parts. It's like, you know, So that was interesting. And yeah, just taking it all in. And Florence, I believe, Firenze is the leather capital. So there's like bags on bags on bags, like people selling bags, wallets, everything. It just smelled of leather, right? It was really great. Uh, the only thing is though, the food, I have to say, because some of you, I don't know if you guys know this. I'll segue to this and then I'll start going into the questions. So when I was, I'll give the short story because some people have not been on the journey or have not listened to the podcast. Please do. We're back with new episodes, January 1st, 2024. So Heart of Hearts always has been New Zealand. And then when my daughter was home during lockdown, she felt like New Zealand was going to be a bridge too far. Well, she's in college. She's now a freshman. And I said, okay, because I'm a reasonable person. So I was like, okay, you know what? I can country shop. We worked it out. And because of the podcast, had kind of a cheat sheet of like people's experiences and then proximity and then my own list. And so I started in Costa Rica. And that trip didn't go well for a variety of reasons I've highlighted before. But after that, I was like, okay, where am I going to go next? And next was Portugal. And because Costa Rica did not go well on the trip, I had very low expectations for Portugal. And I didn't even know where it was at the time. Well, I did by the time I had the show, but in 2020, when I was with my cousin and we were on the flight to Australia, she was like, "Oh yeah, I think I want to retire in Portugal," and I was like, "Where's that?" And now I live here. But the third choice was if Portugal didn't go well, my third choice was actually going to be Italy, largely because proximity, right? Proximity to the US. I can get, that was important to me. I needed to be able to get back to the US on the East Coast in half a day. That was like the plan. So I was like, okay, I know some people there, it'll be cool. So interestingly enough, I thought while I was there, and this was my first time in Italy, I was like, oh, am I going to feel like, oh, you know what? I probably could have lived here. Mm-mm. Nope, did not feel that at all. The closest I would say that I came to that was being in Orvieto. Orvieto is, oh my gosh. I'm looking forward to doing that video. So I'm gonna drop that one probably tomorrow because today I had to like put food back in the house and all the things. So tomorrow it will be forthcoming. But I was like, why wouldn't I? And the reason was not the language, because after a couple of days, you start to like piece together things, even though, I don't pretend to even know Italian, but because I have some foundation in Portuguese and Spanish and, Romance languages, you start to, your brain will start to make sense of its environment. And so I was like starting to pick up little things or hear conversations, especially if they were talking to like Victoria or Julianne, I'd be able to like get the context clues. And I'm like, oh, wait, I think I know what they're talking about. So it wasn't even that. There was a warmth that I love about the people here in Portugal. And I know for me, I would be wanting more community. And up there with that, food diversity. It was like Italian food and then more Italian food and then more Italian food. And I was like, what else you got? So I'm so used to having, this array of cuisine in Portugal, right? I can have Portuguese food, I can have Angolan food, I can have food from Mozambique and Guinea-Bissau, Cabo Verde, and just lots of food. You can have Mexican, I have Chinese food. Like there's a lot. And as someone who's come from, pretty diverse beginnings that I didn't realize like how high on the importance, right? Because you have your hard things that you must have for your move. Like for me, it was safety, walkability, healthcare, good healthcare, um, among other things. But yeah, food, food diversity. I also did a cooking class while I was in Firenze. I learned how to make pasta, y'all. I did that. Okay, now I'm focused. um, Sherry's in the house from Texas. Hey, hey. All right. Good to have you here. Right? I know Thursdays. This is it. Thursdays. Typically at 5:30. I'm starting to make myself like get used to the 10:30 thing. Although truth be told, at like 10:05, I was watching one of my friends' channels and I put my recliner back, which I missed my recliner while I was away. And then I like started nodding off and I was like, ooh, get up, girl. All right, let's see. Okay, in the questions. Okay, so is there a spot to go to where one can see the requirements for different visas? I may not want to work for a while, but need to check what income is required for that. I don't see that kind of, let me see, scroll, info, consulate websites. That's a great question. I haven't seen a comprehensive list of like all of the countries and all of their requirements, primarily because those change a lot. Uh, Countries have at their discretion the opportunity and the ability to change. Actually, I was coaching one of our members a few hours ago and sharing with her that when I was looking at the requirements for Portugal in 2022, by the time I applied in 2023, there was substantive changes in the past 2 years to the visa requirements. Um, so I'm not going to say it doesn't exist. Maybe like a blogger or influencer has compiled it. It's a lot of work because it's 195 recognized countries. But I don't know if it would be up to date. So my best advice would be to narrow the universe, well, by coming up with your list of your must-haves, also always being clear on your why, but coming up with your list of must-haves, and then finding countries that fit that criteria. And then once you do that, you might come up with a list of 3 or 5. That one isn't as hard to kind of map out. Than looking at, the big pie. I would try and narrow the universe. Get to your top 5, and then maybe your top 3. And then you can see, like, hey, you know what? I like this. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be what you want for yourself, right? You might want something that it might be a country with easy entry, but doesn't meet another criteria, right? It might be 20 hours to get back to the States, let's say hypothetically. So that's why I think you should try and shrink the universe. Hope that helps. And always feel free to ask another question or follow up. Mona Love's in the house. Y'all are cracking me up here with the the spell check of everyone's keyboard is dropping that H, the first H. It's okay though. It happens all the time. All the time. I just roll with it now. I don't. Oh yeah, they do. They do. People pick up. I mean, the human brain is capable of way more. I need to put this heat down a little bit more. Way more than what we give it credit. So yeah, it was so beautiful to listen to them and we're ordering or just moving about, or I'm trying to like buy something. Although I was proud of myself, it was Monday night and I was in Orvieto. I think it was Monday night, or maybe it was Tuesday night. and I needed to get money out of the ATM. And I did it all by myself. I didn't even ask Victoria for help. I was like, let me see if I can do this. Hmm. I still sometimes struggle in Portugal. But I was like, oh my gosh, I was able to like do it. I didn't panic or think like, ooh, if I hit the wrong button, I'm gonna, have to take a bunch of money or promise to move a bunch of money. I don't know. But I was so proud of myself. I took money out of the ATM and I didn't even ask for help. And there wasn't, at least that I didn't notice, there was an option for me to move it to English, as they do more so in like downtown Lisbon proper. But where I am specifically, that's not really an option. I had to, oh yeah, I should tell you guys that story. Um, I had to go, I've probably been sharing that I've been having some jaw issues, not really dental issues. And so I've been going to the dentist and seeing a physical therapist at the dentist to help correct some stuff. And he's like, your muscles are tight, right? I mean, like I told him, I've been living in America damn near 50 years. So I've been working on, relaxing my face, relaxing my jaw. And so he wrote a script. And while I have private health insurance here, I need to also get like this number, but I need to go to a different agency to get it. And I haven't done that yet because I was getting ready to go on my trip. So like, oh, you have to pay out of pocket. And I was like, oh shit, damn. So, and I didn't have time to do it before I left. So I'm like, okay. So got back today, started putting food in the house and went to the pharmacy. And so I asked the gentleman at the pharmacy closest to my house, and he's like, I don't have it. And then he just went on about his business. I was like, oh. Like I don't take these things personal. I was like, okay, you're not friendly, bye. And I had to go to the Centro Comercial anyway to do some stuff. So I was like, okay, you know what? I got a bunch of things I need to do at the Centro. I know that there's a couple in the building. So I'm like, okay. So I went to one, which was so confusing because the building, not the building, but the loja said Farmacia. And but it was more like a retail space, not like one that actually sold drugs. So I was like, oh, okay. So she told me, and she was like, oh no, you need to go to the one, around the corner on the left. Because I just, like I said, context clues, right? So it's just like around the corner, izquierda or left. Okay, got it. So I go in there and I ask the woman, and and so she gets it, and it's like 20, it's a box, like yay big, 20 pills. I haven't taken it, I have to take it at night. And I'm like, oh damn, what's she gonna hit me with? Like $90. And I'm like, okay, I'd reimburse, whatever. It was €9.20. What? Cash out of pocket? What? I was like, okay, good choice, good choice, good choice over here. Hope y'all enjoy my little stories. Um, Just Kay said, I'm pumped and prepared to start scouting next year. Yay! Aw, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, hopefully you'll be joining us at the meetup. Our Black Utopia and I are combining forces once again, and we are hosting a meetup in Juneteenth. Come to Portugal, come hang out. We are going to have some fun. Let me drop that link while I'm thinking about it. For those of you who have not signed up, it's going to be fun. And it's my birthday month in June. And for anybody who is interested in moving to Portugal and missed the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit that I co-hosted with our Black Utopia, I'm trying to look for the link. You can still watch the replays. So I'm going to drop the link to that. And there were a bunch of sessions. Okay. Waiting for the magic. Okay, there it is. Cool. All right. Monique. Hi, Kashan. Can you please discuss the NHR changes? What's going on in effect soon. If it's worth moving since repairs are saying this my portal. Okay, got it. Okay. Great question. Lots have changed. Lots of things have changed. So to give some people who do not know up to speed, Portugal had what was called the non-habitual residency. It is open to everyone, not just foreigners, right? So Portuguese people can also have the NHR. It gave a specialized tax treatment. So not 48%, which is still like, people hear 48%, like, oh my God, 48%. But think about it, in the US, it's like, I think its highest tax rate is 32 or maybe 37%. Anybody I know paying that high, right? Right, it's a progressive tax. In any event, for many years, it was zero, where you had 10 years, no tax. End of 2021, if I'm remembering correctly, yes, end of 2021, the government of Portugal changed that to 10%. So anyone who had it prior got to keep it for the duration of their NHR, the 0%. Going forward, it was 10% flat tax on some income, right? And then going into 2022, it was also, right, 2022 was 10%, 2023, 10%, and then what wound up happening, two things. One, there was some decision that, for a variety of reasons, right? Prices are going up. You know, Portugal is a member of the EU, so they have other member countries that look at the things that they do and maybe give feedback. And said, hey, you know what, we need to kind of close the loop with this NHR to kind of stave the steady stream of foreigners, foreign investment. Because again, even though it's open to all people, I don't even know if the percentage of, you know, citizens versus foreigners that comprise the pie of NHR. There was a proposal to end the program, and that came about in about October of this year. Around that time too, the Prime Minister of Portugal resigned abruptly. And then as a result, NHR was temporarily put on hold, any changes, while the president of Portugal decided what the go forward was going to be in terms of leadership, the budget for 2024, et cetera. And so then there was a proposal to another change, right? Another proposal to keep the budget in its current form, the proposed budget, which would have called for the end of NHR in December of 2023, which is what, 15 days away, somewhere around there, 16 days, somewhere like that. So right now, that's what I'm hearing, that the plan is for it to end in its current form. Now, there's still going to be some level of NHR, but this is what happened a few years ago with the Golden Visa. They were like, "Oh, Golden Visa is done," and everyone's, "Oh my God, I can't move to Portugal with Golden Visa." It changed. It didn't go away. So for most people, NHR isn't like a top, like, oh, I'm moving to Portugal because of NHR. It's, I'm moving because safety, you know, good food, culture, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then benefits, oh, wow, special tax treatment. So for the people that I've encountered, it has been a deal breaker. But we will see. We will see. I, for an update, have gotten my NHR because I have residency. Oh, probably should say this. So for anybody who's considering coming before the 31st, and you have like your residency permit or you have your visa, those people still have a chance to get NHR, even if they don't like complete the process. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. But it is a moving target. So if you're watching this in the future, this might have changed, right? These things change. Countries have the rights to change at their will. Patricia asked, question about travel with my pet. Little Bailey was so sad. She's like, Mommy, I have a pet passport and you keep leaving me. So, no, I didn't take her on this trip because I had multiple cities to go to, and that would have been a little bit rough on her. So she was sat with for the time at home and then was with a sitter for the last 3 days. But she's home. She came home last night. She's exhausted. um, so I did promise her, and yes, I treat my dog like a human, that the next trip is going to be a mommy and me trip. So we're going to put her pet passport to good use. I think we're going to do a little road trip. I think I'm up for finally renting a car and getting out on these roads here in Portugal. So thinking about taking her out for a little ride. Hey, hey, hey! Our Black Utopias in the hills. How you doing, friends? Uh, I have a consult tonight for the move to Portugal and have my list ready. The one specific you would suggest I ask. Thank you. Can you elaborate on that, Diane? Are you talking about places to stay during your scouting trip? I'm not sure. Let me know what you are asking me specifically. Helen's in the house. Just Kay said, Rome does remind me of New York or DC. Loved it in historical sites. Yes. Yes. No, I won't let it either. I do want to see more of Italy though. Yeah, I would love to do Capri. Oh, Firenze. Firenze was amazing. Um, oh, Sorrento. Ooh, yes, yes. Definitely want to hit. There's a lot, and I definitely want to go back to Italy. And it was so cool just being able to travel because this was the first time that I traveled since getting my residency. So I was like, oh my gosh, what to expect? Are they going to be like, where's your residency card? Because I don't have one yet. With the change from SEF, which was the immigration office, to now AMA, I don't know when that card's coming. I got a piece of paper with my photo on it that says I can live here for 2 years. A little card that I should have. It's not in my mailbox. I thought it was gonna be here. Mm-mm. So yeah, I wasn't sure what to experience, but I didn't have to worry about anything. They didn't check my passport till I got right to the gate, and then smooth sailing when I got off the plane. It was wonderful. And in Italy, and at the airport in Rome, was it Finocelli? Finocelli? I might be mispronouncing. I am mispronouncing it. Um, it they had a sign because I had this water. I'm always drinking water, and I was chugging my water, and then went to throw it out, and they like big old sign that I missed. It said, "You do not have to discard your fluids anymore." I was like, "What?" I should have been paying more attention because then my bladder was full. But but it was so cool. Didn't have to take my shoes off, no nothing. What? Mm-mm-mm. I took the high-speed train while I was there, actually a couple times. I took the high-speed train. Beverly says, I'm worried about getting to Portugal in order to take advantage of NHR. Have my NIF, no password, need some guidance. Also, who was your real estate person? Muchas gracias. So real estate, I used Portugal the Place. They were also a speaker at the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. Colleen Showalter is the CEO. She's fabulous. And yeah, I mean, hopefully what I said about NHR is providing some help. If you do meet the criteria, and I believe it's like 4 or 5 that's spelled out, then you'll be okay. If you don't, it is possible that NHR in its current form, unless you meet one of the other criteria, like I think it's like scientific trades and some other like carve outs of the go forward. But we also, in the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, had 2 sessions on expat taxes, one on the US side and one on the Portugal side, because if you're moving anywhere, you should find out about your taxes before you commit to a country. Because Uncle Sam isn't a good uncle. He wants his money wherever you are because the US is a sucker, right? But you need to know, is there a treaty with the US in the country that you're thinking about and what that means for you, right? In terms of your specific individual tax situation. Not mine, not anybody else's, yours, right? So that is what I would say is most important, is focusing on, do you understand what your tax liability will be, if any, in the US? So for those of you who are in Blaxit Global Passport or channel members, I share sometimes in there, but the foreign earned income exclusion for 2024 is going to increase. So that is going to be good news for some of us out here. I think it's like, I know 2023, I believe it was like 126,000 that you can earn and not have to pay taxes on it, just because you live and have residency abroad. So like I said, you may need to focus on NHR, but understand what your tax exposure is. Dr. Donna said, buona notte. Yes. I was saying like buona notte, buonasera, or no, yeah, buonasera. All right. Moni Love, if we go the D7 route and show rental income for our personal home that we rent out, does the lease need to be in effect for a period of time prior to using it as proof of passive income? Not really. Mm-mm. As long as you have something showing that you had it. Nope. Not that I've heard. Mm-mm. Because it's like, how do I put this? As far as Portugal is concerned, Portugal immigration, I'm not an immigration professional, right? But it's as far as Portugal immigration is concerned, they're concerned with their part of the puzzle, right? What goes on in their country. Not that they aren't concerned with what goes on in the US, but they just need to know that you have a source of income. That's why it's best not to overcomplicate things and say, oh, well, excuse me, I have this stream from this and this, that, because you can't expect somebody in one country to know like 401k schemes and pensions and when Social Security triggers at this. That's like somebody in the US having to know about the Portuguese system or the system in Italy. Like, right? You just stay in their lane. So, whether it starts 10 days before you apply or 20 months or whatever, right? They just want to see, okay, is this a valid lease? Is there money coming in? Okay, cool, check. I hope that helps. You hear Bailey? She's strolling. She was asleep on the couch. Now she's going in the room. Okay. All right. Monique said, second question, can you please discuss if you're offering shared room prices for the Travel Noir 1 week? Nope. That's a great question. For Travel Noir, and for those of you who don't know, I'm hosting a house in August. And so for people who are scouting, you can stay for 3 weeks or 1 week stay. And so we have some fun things planned in addition to like helping you get acclimated to Portugal. So as part of the experience, everyone has their own room and their own bathroom. Um, and so there isn't any shared accommodations for this experience. How did I calculate my move abroad budget? Great question. Actually, there's a whole workshop. I had to find the word. There's a workshop that I did in Blaxit Global Passport that details how to create your move abroad budget. I'm not sure if we have any members in the chat today. Oops. There we go. But to answer the question, I think it's like look at any commitments because I'll start with the things that people overlook. Look at any commitments or ongoing commitments that you might have from the US or your home country, if your home country is not the US. That might be any recurring bills, credit cards, loans, etc. You might have recurring income, right? Rental income, child support, social security, pension, whatever, right? Severance, unemployment, who knows? And then start to look at your essentials that you have to have, right? You need to have room, right? Room, a roof over your head. Transportation, whether or not you have a car, you'll need some method of transportation. Water, if that's not included. And then there were some things that were in my US budget at the time that are not in my Portugal budget, right? I don't pay for trash collection. That's just a service that is provided. For my internet phone, TV, cable, cell phone. And when I say phone, I meant landline, but I don't really count that. But anyway, that's like under 60 for all four services. So I would say do your skeleton and try and fill out as much as you can with known information. But then you can look at sources like the Earth Awaits and Nomad List. I think there's a video on the channel that goes into how you can do that as well. And then you can just go from there. Hey, hope that helps. How did you decide what to research for yourself and what to hire someone to handle for you? Woo! That's a great question. I had to learn to outsource. Because old me, I had a lifetime bus pass on the struggle bus. I was like, I gotta do it all. I can see it all. I gotta beat it all. Blah. New me, outsource is my life. So I needed to be really clear. And, I talk about mindset on the podcast, I talk about it on the channel, a lot of forums. I did a lot of mindset work in preparation for this move and had to come to the realization that that was part of my behavior, but it was no longer serving me. So what I did do was really take an accounting of what was going on in my life. And so, and I had, my daughter finishing high school and prom and all those things that go along with it, and, college tours and all of that needed my attention, my full attention. I had the show, I had to move, right? Move to Florida, a whole bit, then move to Portugal, the whole application process. And then we have our passport community and our passport members. And like I said, 13 of us were moving in 2023. It's a large amount of people. And so in order I pride myself on my integrity and doing the best and not half-assing it. So it's like, with everything on my plate, I need help. And so I got to a place where I can ask for help. So I knew I needed some support with doing the whole process. So I employed Start Abroad, and I have an updated link for them. I actually just remembered. And outsourced for the NIF and the big account with Border. the real estate with Portugal the Place, and then the rental agreement with Sandra Gomes Pinto, who was also a speaker at the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. But yeah, I would say outsource as much as you can. Always vet, right? Vet the people. But it's important to not feel that you have to do everything. It's a huge process. And even with outsourcing mostly everything, including the actual physical move of my possessions, interestingly enough, there were two, like I said, two moves. So there was the move from New Jersey to Florida, and then there was the move of some of my belongings from New Jersey to Portugal. Interestingly enough, the ones that got damaged and are lost were the belongings that went just the 18 hours from New Jersey to Florida, not the stuff that traveled across the ocean 3,500 miles to Portugal. But yes, outsource. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. The Duomo. The Duomo took my breath away. I didn't get a chance to go in it because time did not permit. But I took a lot of video of the exterior. It blew my mind. I was like, the first time I saw it was the way I got to my hotel, which was just literally around the corner from the Duomo. Um, so when I got to the hotel, I kind of overshot my hotel, and then I realized I needed to turn around. So I walked back and then checked in the hotel, and then I met up with Shirley. She came to the hotel, and then we went out, walked around. So we walked out of the hotel and then turned the corner, and that was my first time seeing the Duomo, and I was like, "What is that?" It's like it's beautiful, and it looked fake. It was like so beautiful that I was like, "Oh my gosh, is this real?" And I had never seen like that green marble and the pink and the white and how it played. Oh, that was just one a marvel. And you'll see in the video, fingers crossed, tomorrow of my highlights in Orvieto, they have a beautiful Duomo, which is some similarities with the white and the green. And Orvieto is just beautiful. The historic center, it's literally on a mountain, and then you see this, there was this whole cavern system, cave system, that the Etruscans lived underground. And so you can do the underground tour. I didn't have time to do that because it was towards the end of my trip, but I will be going back to Orvieto because I want to hang out with Victoria. And but yeah, the beautiful Duomo. So I have another video to share, and definitely, if you have a chance to go to Orvieto, it is beautiful, charming, charming, no crowds. They actually have a jazz festival coming next week. Yes. Right? Oh my gosh, the Duomo is beautiful. And so many museums. I went to see, forget the name of the museum. I went to so many museums. But the museum that had the Medici family, the crypts, and that room just takes your breath away. I think it was the Musée. Ah, it's escaping me at the moment, but definitely so many wonderful things. And then I was shocked at how many dead bodies they have floating around. I was like, you're in St. Peter's Basilica, and they're like, oh yeah, that's that dead pope and that dead pope, and then the one with the what? They have the body in a crypt. Actually, I had a video of that. Yeah, the body in the crypt, but then they put wax over the body. So it looks like skin, and he had the hat and the slippers on. I was like, what? And then this emblem on the floor, which wasn't like a crypt vault, but they said like directly underneath, there was like 100 of them buried, because I think it's been like 200 and something popes, and like 100 of them were buried under there. I was like, what? A lot of dead bodies. Hey, Stephanie's in the house. Hey, girl, hey. Just asked a great question. You know it's here. I went to the store and I got my vino from this one I started getting partial to after going to this little beautiful little wine shop, wine tasting place, wine bar. I think it's probably a wine bar in Seychelles. And there was this wine that they had of the Dow region, which I hadn't been drinking Dow wines, and I had gotten one of them. It's a region in Portugal. And so I had one that night. Still haven't found that particular one, but this one is of the label of the brand, and started drinking this. And so they had it at the store again. I was like, hey, $4.99. I had some wonderful Chianti when I was in Italy too. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the Portuguese wine. Oh, see, my Trader Joe's in New Jersey didn't have wine. I had to go, I forgot, because I was in Florham Park. Where was the other one? It wasn't close by. Oh, Westfield. Westfield was the one that had alcohol, but the ones that were close to my house, Denville and Florham Park, they didn't sell alcohol. So I'm glad you at least got to try some Portuguese wine. Yes, and I plan to do some wine tasting when I still got to figure out South Africa. That was supposed to be the plan for February, and then the Jazz Fest. I was sharing it with someone yesterday, and the Jazz Fest is canceled or postponed. I should say postponed. They haven't canceled it yet. But I was bummed because I've been trying to go to this daggone jazz festival since 2020. And this was going to be the first one since 2020, or no, 2019, because it didn't happen in 2020 because of the pandemic. So I was like, oh, do I go? Do I cut it short? I don't know, but I think I still am going to go. Were the men handsome? Younger ones. Yeah, there were some younger ones that were cuties. They were cuties. Yeah, I would say. What's Portugal stance? COVID vaccines mandatory? Nope. Revised vaccinations? Nope. Mm-mm. None of the above. No push for vaccines or testing or anything like that here. Mm-mm. Nope. Mm-mm. Just K. Sorry, I meant for Portugal is their site. Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying. Yes, if you go on BFS's website, they should have the latest and greatest with the requirements. Yep. And those, although I haven't really looked for 2024, it's my understanding that they have not changed substantially. Like I said, previous years, definitely the past two, once I started paying attention, there had been substantive changes. The only change, which is not substantive, is one that most countries do at the end of the year. They give the forward view for what the income requirement will be for the upcoming year based on cost of living adjustments, and Portugal's has gone up, so slightly. So you just need to make note of that. They might have a little asterisk about that on BFS's website for sure. Boo, boo, boo. What's your impression of how the Black community is integrated in Italian life? I mean, of the people that I spent time with, they love it, right? I spent time with, like I said, what was that, 4 Black women? And then some that they were like, oh, see this person, but like time didn't allow. And most were members of Blaxit Global in its early days when they had the Facebook group. So it's nice to kind of catch up. But yeah, loving it. So Shirley's there in Firenze with her son. And it was so wonderful because I remember her from the Facebook group. And so we had a lovely time. She loves Florence. And I know why, because it is a fabulous city. Fabulous, fabulous city. Julianne, although she met me in Rome, she does not live in Rome. So if you listen to the podcast and her episode, she's actually in the mountains. So she took the train. It was like an hour ride for her to come down and spend the day with me, which I really appreciated. But she loves living in Alumere. And then Victoria is coming up on a decade. And so, like I said, if you watch House Hunters, you could probably catch the repeat of her episode. They rerun it every couple months. They'll go in the archives, and its episode is Babe in Orvieto, and you can probably Google it and see her journey, and then also listen to her on the Blaxit Global podcast. So yeah, definitely. And then when I went to Rome, definitely saw more Black people. Yeah, speaking Italian, of course. But like her mom's there a couple months and moving about, right? And yeah, the people were nice. The only issue I had when I was in Italy was during the cooking class, but it wasn't with Italians. It was with these tourists, American girls that were studying abroad, of course. And this Australian couple and their daughter, and these Scots was there with the girlfriend. Those peoples. They didn't have a good night, but I sure did. But yeah, I didn't have any issues with anybody else that were Italian. Hey, Angel. Yes, I know. Not this iteration. And I know some people have asked, am I doing another Scout House? I have not made that decision yet, largely because I want to focus on this one. Like I said, I have the high integrity, right? And so I want to make sure that this first experience is really great. And so that's where my time is. Not to say that I won't do a surprise, and offer another one later. I don't know. Yakota, you're gonna be there for the meetup. Don't forget to come to the meetup. It's in the chat roll. Yes, Angel, I'm excited for you to come scout too. We're gonna have fun. As if you can tell, I like the fun bus. Oh, cool. So Cherie said, I met with your realtor, renting versus selling. I'm a big proponent of renting, especially here in Portugal, because there's a lot of tumult in the market right now, right? NHR changes, prime minister, a lot of different things going on, right? Interest rates, as you probably have followed, which you should be, right? Listening to what Jerome Powell says. So for the U.S., right, there's been a signal from the Feds that interest rates will start to come down in 2024. What does that mean? If interest rates come down, that might mean for those of you who are in high yield savings accounts, you might need to rethink how your money is because it's not going to pay at the same rate. Some other things. The European board, they're a different system, right? But not saying that they'd be a fast follow, but sometimes. So just there's a lot of dynamics to consider. And so that's why I say, rent, get a lay of the land, see what you like, see what you dislike. I love my place. It's new, and so because it's new, I'm spoiled, and I have creature comforts both in my home or in my vicinity of my home, and so there are areas that I like, but I'm like, ooh, would I give this up for that? But everybody has their own, right? Like for example, if you get a ticket to watch the replays of the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit. We did a session with, actually 2 sessions, with Black expats that live in Portugal that share different regions, different parts of the country, and shared what it's like living in Porto and Lisboa, of course, Silver Coast, etc., Algarve. And so you can hear firsthand people's experiences, which is always helpful. And then we also did a home buying one, and so on 2 fronts. So Colleen from Portugal The Place gave a forward look for 2024. And then we had Nicole and Shar who shared their recent purchases, home purchases. Shar has been living here 3 years before she purchased her home. And Nicole is one of our members that just moved when I moved, so 3 months in, and they bought a building. So Stephen's in the house. I don't know if you've already spoken on it, but what's the biggest changes you noticed about yourself? Wow. My smile has gotten brighter. Either that or the lipstick is just popping. Yeah, that's a great question. I am more relaxed. I sleep. That's been a big change. I'm very rested. Not just the 8 hours that they tell you to get each night, because I certainly wasn't getting that in the States. I nap during the day. I take siestas. My nervous system is thanking me every day for making this move. I have space to think. So I used to ruminate a lot. I don't know if that's a feature of being an introvert or just a relic of trauma, right? Trauma with the big T. And I don't do that anymore. I don't time warp. I don't think about the future all the time. And I don't revisit the past on a constant feedback loop. I don't have this feeling that I'm always on edge or anxiety. Oof, that went out the window. And I drink more wine. I do. And interestingly enough, when I was in Italy, and was it during yes, it was during the cooking class. We had a really good instructor. The participants sucked ass, but she made a great point because she's like, because I had asked her, I'm like, since I moved to Europe, like I drink a lot of wine, and this was not a thing for me before. And I was like, why is that? And why is it that I can drink so much wine and not get drunk or have a hangover? And she said, because the wine is organic. They don't have all the preservatives and all the other shiznit that they put in other wines. And so I was like, oh, that's why. So yes, those are the biggest changes. Ooh, shouldn't have stopped there. And my waistline. My waistline is coming back. Like it's getting back. It's getting back to this. I mean, I'm still like more like a not looking like SpongeBob SquarePants, which is what I felt like when I first got to Portugal. I was like, Lord, what happened? But yes, I'm looking more like myself, and things are tightening up again. So I'm like, whew. But that's because I walk like 15. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's see what I did today. Okay, today was a good day. 11,868. So 5.5 miles, or yeah, just under 5.5 miles. But let me tell you what I did last week. Let's see. Oh shoot, it's not gonna give me. Was it gonna give me last week? Oh no, because we're too far into this week. Last week I did 93,000 steps, which was 40 miles, a little over 40 miles. When I was in the States, I'd be lucky if I did 3,000. Oh, Annie M is coming for the Average Journey meetup. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, yes. All right. Let's see. Amalfi Coast. I want to go to the Amalfi. Let me tell you. I have now that I'm back. Oh, yeah, this is a good point to share too. And I guess it probably piggies back on the question from Stephen. When I went to Italy, this was my first vacation. Well, let me back up a little bit. When I went to Italy and I was starting my trek back yesterday, and it was like it's only a quick 2.5 hour flight from Lisbon to Rome. And I was like, oh, reflecting on my time. And I was like, wow, I was actually homesick. Even though I was having a fabulous time, I was homesick. I missed Portugal. And then I was, contemplating that, like, why? Why is that pull there? Because, I've been to now what I counted 17 countries now, because I had a two for this last time. And I've done that all mostly since 2017. And I was wondering, like, why am I feeling so homesick when I've never felt homesick before? Even when I did New Zealand and my kids were still young. I mean, what was that? 20, okay, so Miles was a teenager, and I think Maya was like a preteen at that point. And still, then this is what I landed on. This was the first time, this being my trip to Italy, was the first time that I went on a vacation just because, right? I wasn't running from anything. I wasn't like, oh shit, I hate work or I'm burnt out or, I can't stay in America or I need to get space. No, this was not that trip. It was oh, look, you know what? I'm recording season 6. Let me take a little break before I really get in the last couple, because I have a certain number of episodes I like to have recorded before I go live. And I was like, oh, you know what? It's be a nice little break, change of scenery. That's why. That's why I went to Italy. That was the purpose. And I bought shoes. I found shoes. But yeah, so it felt good to go just because. Because in this version of my life, I do that just because, right? I get to do that. And I deserve that. And you deserve that. You deserve that. That you don't have to ask somebody to take time off. That's your time, right? So that felt good. And as a result, I was there and then also got to appreciate the things of the new place I call home. And that made me homesick. So it was a nice thing. So I look forward to now exploring this country. And I do want to make my way back to Italy because I want to go to the Amalfi Coast. I want to go to Algarve in Portugal and Madeira. And there's, other places I want to go, Coimbra. But yeah, definitely want to go to Lake Como in Italy. That's been on my list. And then I shared today in the Blaxit Global Facebook group about a Black woman who is making her life in Sicily. So that was really fun to watch. Hey, hey, hey. Word Up Psychotherapy's in the house. Oh my gosh. Thank you. That's so generous. Gifted 5 memberships. Oh, how amazing. Thank you. Y'all, thank Word Up Psychotherapy in the chat. That is awesome. Thank you. Happy holidays. What is the name on your driver's license? What if the name on your driver's license is abbreviated from the full name on your passport? Any thoughts? Ooh. That's interesting. I don't know how much of an issue it would be because your passport is your name and really stands for where you're a citizen of, what nation. Your driver's license, also because it has less real estate, so things can be truncated, really is your ability to be permitted to drive in a state. Um, so I don't think that that makes a difference. It's a good question. I had to ponder that for a second. But it's not uncommon for people to have multiple middle names and surnames because of how different lineage goes in different cultures. So I don't think it'll be a big hang up. I know though, when I was coming back yesterday, the gentleman that was in front of me, I think he had some affiliation with the church because he had a collar on. And the woman had done a double take when she looked at his passport, or no, she looked at his resident card or citizenship card because citizens also have cards in Portugal. And then she looked again and, oh yeah, because she looked at his card and the passport, because his name was different. But she was like, oh, she looked at it real quick, but I wouldn't worry about that one. That's a good question. I had to think about that. Beverly, let's see. Can you recommend a shipping company that can safely ship my art collection? Absolutely. Portugalia. Yeah, I would do it. Portugalia. They got my stuff here, all in one piece. They're fantastic. They're based in Newark. I would check them out and ask the questions like, how long is it going to take to get there? Do you insure? All the things to, make sure that you have peace of mind about your artwork because, you want to get it here in one piece. And I'm assuming these questions are related to Portugal. It doesn't have to be. Y'all didn't have to ask me questions about Portugal tonight. Um, Black Mermaid said, not a lifetime pass on the struggle bus. Yes, yes, I really did. I was like holding on to like, oh, everything, woe is me, oh, damn, And then I was like, oxygen mask applied. Check. Freedom flight. Stacey A says, are you only showing people around Portugal who purchased your house package in August? Yes, we are only doing Portugal. We are not doing any neighboring countries, not in this version of Nomad Noir. Will it be a future one? I don't know. I do not know yet. How much would you say that outsourcing costs? Not trying to get your business. It was like $45,000. No, I'm just kidding. No. It varies, right? Like, and I can't quote other people's or my provider's costs because, that's their business. And I'm sure that rates either have changed or are about to change. So I would defer to looking to their latest and greatest. But I will say that the way I looked at outsourcing was that it was an investment. It gave me things that I can't get back, which is time. Can't put a price on that. So I wouldn't say any amount of money was worth it. I definitely did my due diligence and what I was comfortable with paying, with also the amount of focused attention that I needed and time and peace of mind. I can't put a price on that. So that's how I looked at it. And then what I did, because I mean, look, numbers are what they are, is I had to make things work in other directions, right? So if you're going to spend, I'm going to make up a number, not saying that that's what I spent, but let's say you're going to spend 10,000, right, on this whole like move or whatever. maybe half of that you use with getting the support of others, then you can say, okay, where can I either make more money, or what I also did was look at areas where I could flex in different ways. So it's like, okay, had travel points, started doing travel hacking. I hadn't really travel hacked before, but as you probably have watched a couple of YouTube channels from different content creators, there's a lot of travel hacking videos, and I just did what worked for me. And so I was able to save on that end. So then it didn't seem like it was this cost on top of other costs. So that's what I mean. Like, as you move forward and you start to redesign your life and reimagine what that can look like, start to, as I said at Exodus Summit, right, open the aperture, start to look at what is possible in things that maybe sat outside your peripheral can start to come into view. And then it makes what seemed like a challenge, right? Oh, outsourcing is going to be this cost. Then it's not that big of a deal, because you can say, oh, you know what? I'm going to make this investment here, because it is an investment, but I'm going to get time freedom. I'm going to be able to make that money back in some other form, right? Um, or you might have an investment, you know, there's other things, but that's how I make sense of things. I fixate less on the cost of things. Um, but yeah, I would say that's the best advice that I could give on that. Angel, in the US, apartment hunting usually starts about 6 days out from moving. Is in Portugal. Ooh, mm, mm, mm. Let's see, how do I want to answer that? I think it all depends, right? It depends on where in Portugal. If you have your heart set on Lisbon, it could take 60, 90 days. It could. It could. I will say that there's a lot of change afoot. And then, people who move, right? People who spend half their time here, portion of their time, study abroad, you know, a whole bunch of things, right? Or who moved and then decided not to stay. So it could take 60, it could take 6. When I came in April of this year, I came for a week, and I think it was on day 3 or 4 was when I found my apartment. And by the time that Friday, like 2 days before I was to fly back out, I had a lease in hand. It's practically unheard of, but you know, it's just to show you it depends. It depends on what you're interested in, what you can afford, what areas you're interested in. And this might be helpful for anybody, is getting clear not just on the country or the city, but once you narrow down into the city, there are different neighborhoods. So what type of things, again, being true to your list, right? Do you need to be around the energy of people? You might want to be in the city center, not on the outskirts. If you don't enjoy being like with people all the time, you might want to just dabble, right? You might want to be on the outskirts. You want to be by the mountain, by the ocean, up the mountains. And then get neighborhood specific. Do you mind that there's bars and restaurants that might be open till 2 a.m. and that type of noise and energy, right, at nighttime? Might be fine if you're a night owl that's an extrovert, maybe not so much if you're an introvert, right? So that's what I mean. Like, start to get, refine your decision tree. And this way, it'll help when you do employ the support of others to say, hey, I'm looking at these neighborhoods. It might be, Saldana, it might be Pena de França, it might be, somewhere along Alcobaça, might be somewhere in the Silver Coast or Peniche, Caldas Rainish. I might not have said that one right. But nevertheless, getting clear on neighborhoods and towns will help you. And it'll also help you with your budget. You might say, hey, I have enough for this part, but not for that. And are you okay with the trade offs? Because there's no one person that has like they get 100% of what they want. You might get 90, you might get 85, you might get 75 and be okay with that. But you have to look at your must-haves and your kind of like nice to haves. That's how I did it with this. Let's see. All right, I think we got time for like a few more, and then we're gonna wrap this up because I think it's almost midnight for me. Yes, it is. Yes, I ate some gelato. Yes, I had great. The best gelato I actually had was in Orvieto. That was Tuesday night. Yeah, I tried it in Rome, had some in Firenze, but the best was in Orvieto. Exquisite Coils. Hey, 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 how you doing? Yes, right? When rates drop. Yes. So, like I said, there's a lot of going on in the market. And like I think it's like 90% of mortgages in Portugal are variable rate. So you also have people who bought maybe a lower cost house, did a bunch of renovations, but then the interest rate started to go up, which meant you may not be able to complete the renovation, which is some of what I'm seeing in the market right now, incomplete renovations, because what money that they had set aside for renovations, they now need to use to pay the mortgage. So like I said, there's a lot of market dynamics. When you see a lot of variables all at once, sometimes it's better to take a pause, take a beat. You don't have to worry about FOMO. We're packing away scarcity mindset, packing away FOMO, right? Surrendering our lifetime bus ticket on the struggle bus. That's what we're doing. I am happier. I am happier. I am. Oh, thank you. Hey, Karen Louise is in the house. How you doing? I appreciate that, y'all. Yes. Because you know what? You survived 100% of your worst days. Yes. Yes. Oh, before I go, maybe y'all can help me with this one. So, as you know, January 1st, 2024, I'll be in your ears with a new season. So, I thought about this the other day because you know I always close the season with a solo episode. But then I started thinking that, oh, 2023 was my Blaxit year. And y'all might want to hear from me at the top of the season. But let me know if that was not a good thing to think. Right? Because I'm like, should I open the season? I don't know. I don't know. So I haven't decided because the very first episode is not recorded. Some other episodes are, but the very first one hasn't been recorded. So I was like pondering, I'm like, do you want to hear from me at the top or do you want to hear from someone else? Because the original plan was someone else. And so I'm like, So I'm just curious. Stephen said that anxiety is a big one. I got prescribed meds this year at 55. Wow. Yes, you need to get out because the US will always they have a drug for everything. You see all these Ozempic bodies, and not the body shame, not the body shame, but they have a pill for everything, right? Can't get it up. We got Viagra. Gotta lose weight. We got Ozempic. Can't sleep. We got this. Oh, remember the Prozac Nation was in the 90s. Like there's always something. And you don't have drug ads in Europe. None. None. Not, oh, side effects will be, you'll lose an ear or whatever. Like, mm-mm, mm-mm. Yes. I flew tap Portugal. I flew tap Portugal. Yeah, it was nice and easy. I had the row to myself on the flight back. Hmm. The whole row. I had to boot somebody out my seat though, because I don't know, girl couldn't read the description. I don't know what. Hmm. Um. Wow. Let's see. Did I ship dishes and furniture? Nope. Nope. My apartment was empty with the exception of one piece of furniture. And even in this room that is the studio, it is a bit compared to the other rooms of the house. It is a bit echoey in here. So I'm trying to solve for that as I continue to like furnish. So I think the next purchase wasn't on the plan. It's going to be a rug, because I think that'll help with some of the sound absorption, um, because it is a bit echoey. But work in progress, right? I don't have to rush. I don't have to rush. Karen Louise. Thank you. Yes, yes, my critters. Although my daughter's coming. She's coming in a little over a month. So maybe if she's open to it, we'll see. We'll do a YouTube live together because you guys haven't seen her in a while. And she could talk about freshman year. Yes, I am learning a lot about myself, my likes, my dislikes. I may even have a date coming up. Might, but how do I want to say this? I was having this conversation with my mother earlier today too. I've learned a lot about myself past few years, and as it relates to dating, because I did not date, right? So this is like me getting back out there, and I realized I'm like, not that I'm not interested, but like my life is good. Like it just got good, right? So like I'm pretty happy, and I treat me very well. So like the bar is set high because I do this for myself, not because, oh, well, I mean, it's good to have high standards, right? But it's not because like I'm putting myself on this pedestal and I'm asking somebody to come on. And all the countries I've been to, all the places and things I do, and I get to experience, and I treat me really well. So like, I don't know, Friendlies in the Olive Garden ain't gonna cut it no more. It's like, nah, like maybe a week in the Maldives, maybe, yeah, right? It's like I treat me very well, right? And I'm not giving that up. It has to be that or better. So I'm not closing the door to dating. I'm just letting it be known. Like, come high, but don't come at all. Don't come at all. Oh yeah, Beverly. I'll put it in. Let me see if. Well, let me not open up a tab because my internet has been acting a little funny. So let me just spell it out for you, and then you can Google it. Okay. On my way out of here, Phyllis has entered the chat. Hey, 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 how you doing? Auntie Lou, how you doing, Auntie Lou? How's life treating you? How's the new life treating you? Uh, oh, so you think I should open? Okay. Solo episodes do make me a little nervous, I have to say. I do get a little nervous. I'm like, should I get somebody to interview me? I don't know. Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. I'm open to that. Maybe I'll do some like a crowdsource. Maybe like I'll email and you guys can give me some feedback on things that you want me to talk about or answer on the journey. Oh, talking about myself. Ooh, 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 that's gonna be hard. Okay. Um, ooh, that's an interesting one. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting one because I don't let a lot of people get close to me. I don't let a lot of people get close to me. No, no, no. Um, so the only people like my mom, and she can barely use her smartphone. uh, hey Sheila, it's all right. It's all right. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I am Karen Louise said, okay, all right, top of the season. Okay, all right. So I'm glad I asked the question because I was thinking about it and I was like, because it's still early enough to tinker with the beginning part of the schedule. So that okay, okay. Let me ponder that for like a couple days and get my thoughts together, and then I'll lay some track and get that. Did I get my hair braided? Yes, yes, yes. 84 euro. Wash, blowout. I got a lot of hair too. Oof, Lord. But yeah, like start to finish, I think it was like 4 hours. Mhm. No, it's not too soon. And actually, if you're already living in Portugal, you can get a lot of value out of the summit because, like I said, we had sessions on taxes and HR, home buying, kind of the go forward. So I think there's a lot of value, regardless of where you are in the journey steps, for sure. Mhm. All right, y'all sold it. Top of the season. Maybe next week when I go live, I might have to ask, I might have to ask for some help, but we'll see. We'll see. I haven't, oh, I was about to say I haven't had an issue. I have not had an issue with the mosquitoes. I've gotten bitten once, but I opened the window today because it is so warm and it was cold in Italy. And by cold, I mean it was like 48. Um, whereas in Portugal it was like 60. Um, but no, I haven't had that. And I opened the window and the fly came in and, opened them so they, can leave. But then when I was closing the window later after the housekeeper left, um, that's when I saw a mosquito, but he was up there minding his business. So I'm gonna let him live a little longer. But they haven't really been bothering me. I was so happy to have her come and clean. I was like, yay! My little creature comforts. And I think next week is my massage, my in-home massage. Oh, yes. Um, oh wow, Auntie Lou. Yeah, see, I love that. I love that you're getting your place, looking for a rental, and you realize something about yourself, right? Because well, and it's not to detract from like the bop around crew, right? But as you start the journey, you're like, oh, you know what? This is something that feels more authentic to me, and this doesn't. So I love that you made that discovery. Oh yes, 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 yes. Oh wow. All right, y'all already told me. I'm gonna do I'll open the season. I'll give you all a shout out, right? Because you made that happen. Because like I said, my original plan was not to open. Um, uh, no, I haven't. Not a podcast episode. No. Pro and con of moving abroad or pro and con of moving to Portugal? As a follow-up question to you. Um, Beverly said, I feel so much better having joy. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, and my travels is in the house. Yes. And my daughter interviewed me. Oh my gosh. Yes. Because she would just be like, this is what Maya would ask me. Why are you always out so late? Why are you never home with my puppy? Does barely hug the bed. Those would be the questions. Y'all don't want to hear that. I'm pretty sure that's not what you want to tune in for. So for those reasons, I won't have her do it. Um, so yeah, it's after midnight for me. I looked up, I was like, ooh, today is tomorrow. It's Friday. You found a braider. Congratulations. Yes. Hey, Juanita's in the chat. How are you, my friend? Have y'all listened to Juanita's episode? And Juanita was Mrs. Universe. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yes, please do. Please, 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 please. I would love to see you and hug you in person. Oh, my goodness. That would be so fantastic. My brother's coming in March as well. So that's awesome. Yay. Yes. Please, please keep me in the loop. Keep me in the loop. Oh, I'm glad you're doing well. Yes. And oh my gosh, I saw on your Instagram stories, your kids getting so big. Oh my gosh. It's like I've watched them grow up. That's fantastic. They're beautiful. All right, y'all. I think we got it. I think we got all the questions answered. And hour 36, this is good. Hour 36 minutes, this is good. This was fun. I hope you enjoyed Ask Me Anything. Y'all had great questions. I'll be back next week, same time, same bat channel, with, let's see, I haven't decided what I want to do next week. I have not decided, but y'all tell me. I mean, y'all watch the replay and leave comments. I definitely take feedback. Let's see. Cherie said, I wish I had questions ever since layoff. I've been kind of lost. I'm sorry. Yeah, I am so sorry. Yeah, a lot of companies are doing layoffs. Maybe that's a topic to talk about next week. Because sadly, even though we're in the holiday season, a lot of companies don't give a rat's ass about that. And I know as from someone who has been laid off five times, 4 times, yeah. It can be, it can feel that way. You don't stay there, but it's natural to feel that way, is what I'm saying. So I can understand that. I can understand that. But you know what? Feel free to come inside Blaxit Global Passport. Maybe that getting in the community with us will give you the fuel you need to get yourself back on track emotionally, and open the door to getting you that remote job, right? That work from anywhere job, right? That's the goal. So I'm dropping the link to Passport. Feel free to come in. Yes. All right. I'm just looking at the thank yous. You're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Maybe we'll take on corporate America next week. I don't know. We'll see. But in the meantime, stay safe. Thanks for rocking with me tonight, and I will see you soon.